Greetings. Just here in northern Oregon, out in the middle of nowhere. Checking out a little piece of Oregon history. This is the Ajax School. It's one of many old schoolhouses sort of scattered about across the state of Oregon. We're here in Gilliam County. Which is the current home of wheat country and wind towers. Back when this old school was built, there's no information, but we presume it's quite a long time ago. As you can see, got our little sign. Just gonna take a quick peek around. Back in, say, the 1800s, getting around here was on foot or horseback. And so coming to school probably was quite the endeavor, especially in the winter. It's where we get those old-timer type stories of having to go uphill both ways to get to school. Well, this is kind of in a hole here, so it is uphill, in and out, no matter what. Just looking inside, there's some modern stuff scattered around, as you can see. Nothing too fascinating. You can see the old chimney. Looks like a gas furnace there of some kind. Presumably 1900s, but it could be older. There's not much to it. 4 walls and a roof. Got some storm shutters you can close. A lot of little holes pecked in it where critters have made their homes now. But if you can imagine being out in the middle of nowhere to go to school, it's almost too quiet. You can hear your pulse pounding in your ears if you have tinnitus like we do. You can definitely hear that singing in your ears. It's the call of a bird of prey of some kind. There's one interesting thing, if you'll pardon this. Not everybody wants to go look at a toilet, but it is an interesting piece of history. And it's certainly not a toilet any of us have ever seen in our modern era. This toilet is a 2-seater. Now, if you can imagine that, hanging out next to your schoolmate, doing your business, that's certainly a different sense of personal space and privacy than we have now. And what's interesting is to note that there's a hole there and there, presumably for ventilation, but if it was cold enough, they might have even had, perhaps even here, a small wood stove that you could keep burning when you've got a few dozen people that need to go. You might want to keep it warm in here for them. We'll make sure and latch it back up the way we found it. And there's cattle droppings around. They've plowed right through here to work on some utility cable, and we're surrounded by currently fallow wheat fields. There's not much else. Just out there on the horizon, very hard to see, but it's right there. It's Mount Adams. And if you get just up on the hill, you can also see the whole Cascade Crest. You can see Jefferson and Hood. Quite the view coming in and out of school. But man, it gets very, very bitterly cold in the winter here. And it gets brutally hot and windy in the summer. I just can't imagine. There's no protection here. There's no trees. These northern central counties of Oregon are some of the most unforested counties in the state. The next county to the north, Sherman County, is actually the only county in Oregon that has no actual forest. There are groves and there are stands of juniper and things like that, but no actual forest. So there's no wind protection, and that's why there's wind towers everywhere. Let's take another look in here from the other side. Wow. That's really interesting. See, they had some sheets or something hung over the doorway there to help block the draft, keep the bugs out. Just kind of wonder what they're doing with it now, seeing as how there's some modern chairs and such scattered about. You wonder if they have any intention in perhaps revamping it, revitalizing it, any sort of thing like that. Very interesting. Here in the entryway, probably come in, check your coat, stomp your boots off of the snow or the dust. It's a very, very dusty place here. Kind of has that ghost town feel. Very interesting. Just gonna squeeze past here. It's even a nice little bench to sit on. Hopefully they'll leave it. It kind of looks like we shouldn't be going inside, so we're not going to. But it's always interesting to see the old hardware still in play. These old doorknobs, they're really neat. Old keyholes. We don't use keys like those anymore, that's for sure. That's pretty cool. Wow. Well, should probably get moving on. The days are wasting. It's certainly been interesting to get out here and see this old piece of Oregon history. If you happen to see one, please do be respectful. Leave it how you found it. If you open something, close it back up. If it's closed, it probably is for a reason. But I want to thank you so much for joining us for these sunny skies, beautiful late March weather. And as you just saw, there are, as always, ants.